He looks me right in the eye and he said, "Frank, that's me. I am the guy in the movie." I said, "Well, that's funny because you look nothing at all like Robin Williams." I was doing some speaking. I was actually speaking to the FBI in Washington, D.C., and I had finished for the day. It was an exhausting day, really tiring. I was worn out, and I went to Reagan National Airport. If you're familiar with it, if you're not familiar with it, that's where I was, Terminal A, Gate 39, and I was waiting for my flight. It was one of those little commuter flights, and you have to go down the stairs to get on the plane. So everybody's waiting. It's 6 months after 9/11, so there's only like 5 people in the whole waiting area, and there's hundreds of seats. And so I sit down, and I just start people watching because I'm kind of cheap, and I was tired, and I just wanted free entertainment. So I start people watching, and I notice people walking up and down the hallway. And I noticed this gentleman. I think he was from Florida because he had the official Florida retiree uniform, right? You know the one. It's a short sleeve striped shirt, plaid shorts, knee socks, and sandals. And he's shuffling down the hallway and he goes his way. And then I heard like this singing. And so I looked down the hallway and I heard it before I saw it. But as I looked closer, I saw a tall man coming at me with long gray hair pulled back into a ponytail. As I looked closer, he had on a stocking cap like Santa Claus, and I could hear the bells on the back jingling. He had on the left side of his hair, he had dyed a pink streak. On the other side, he dyed a blue streak. He had a bushy mustache curled up at the ends. He had on a black silk smoker's jacket with a navy blue plaid shirt. He had on red, white, and blue striped pants and bright red high-top tennis shoes. He was singing to himself, right? And he got to my gate, and apparently he was going where I'm going, so he came and he looked around. Hundreds of empty seats. Frank sitting there by himself, nobody within 10 or 20 seats, so where does this guy decide to sit? Right next to me. So he comes up, he sits right next to me, but instead of sitting in a chair like a normal person, he sits on the floor. And he folds his arms and legs, and he starts singing out loud, "I Gotta Be Me." Now, based on what I do for a living, workshops, public speaking, that kind of thing, I love attention, probably more than a lot of people. But this was a bit much even for me. So he starts singing, "I Gotta Be Me." Well, between where we're sitting in the hallway, there's a partition about this high. So from the hallway, you can see my head. He's sitting on the floor. People walking up and down the hallway, they can hear him singing, but they can't see him. They can only see me. So people are walking by, looking at me, doing a double take. These 2 guys are walking by. They stop. They look at me. They look at each other. They look back at me. They look back at each other, and I hear one guy say to the other one, "Hey, his lips aren't moving." The other guy said, "Yeah, I think he's a ventriloquist." So I thought, all right, I got to stop this. I bet if I talk to this guy, he'll stop singing because he can't sing and talk at the same time. So I turned to him and I established eye contact and I said, "Pardon me, sir, that's an interesting outfit. What do you do for a living?" He stopped singing and with his arms folded, he looked at me and he said, "Thank you for asking, son. I'm a doctor." A doctor? Come on, doctors don't dress like that, right? Doctors have the stethoscope and the white lab coat with their name on it and all that stuff. You got none of that. That's what I thought. What I said was, "Really? What kind of a doctor are you?" And I'm thinking to myself, this is kind of intriguing. What kind of doctor dresses like a clown? He looked at me and he said, "I am a general practitioner, but I only work with kids because adults are morons." As a matter of fact, I came to find out that he'd been on Capitol Hill speaking to Congress all day. So I said, "So you only work with children?" "Oh, I get it." I said, "Is that why you dress like a clown? Because of the kids, right? The kids love to let you kind of dress up like this?" And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, "Thank you for noticing my uniform, young man." He said, "The kids do love it, but I wear it for me." I said, "I'm sorry, I'm a little bit lost. You wear that uniform for you? And why do you call it a uniform?" He said, "Son, I believe that everybody has a purpose in life. And I think most people don't know theirs. My purpose is to go help those kids that can't help themselves. And that's what I've dedicated my life to. And he said, so yeah, the kids love it. But every morning when I put on my uniform, it reminds me of what I'm here to do. And that helps me to stay focused in my mission and purpose in life. He said, my mission and purpose in life is to leave people better than I found them. I said, oh man, that is so cool. He said, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I came and sat down, people all around, they're all looking at us. I said, yes, I actually did notice. I did notice that. I said, you know what? It just dawned on me. They're staring at your uniform, aren't they? He said, yes, they are. I said, the other thing I just became aware of, you didn't even have to talk to those people. They took one look at you and you made them smile. I now see the whole leave people better than you found them. That's pretty cool. We kept on talking a little bit more and they called our flight and I said, you know, this has been really terrific. I am a speaker and I would love to share what I've learned about you, about leaving people better than you found them. Would you mind if I talk about our time together today? And he said, no, that'd be great. I said, awesome, what's your name? He said, well, my parents named me Henry, but my friends call me Patch. I said, whoa, there's this wacko movie out right now about this wacko doctor named Patch Adams. He gets this really serious look. He looks me right in the eye and he said, Frank, that's me. I am Patch Adams. I am the guy in the movie. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but sometimes I get excited and the old filter, right, that you should think before you talk gets turned off. It was off because I looked at Patch right in the eye and I said, well, that's funny because you look nothing at all like Robin Williams. And he said, well, thank you. As we continued to talk for just another minute before we left to go get on our separate flights, he said, you know, Frank, I want to leave you with one other thing. I said, what's that, Patch? He said, I believe that you have to help people embrace what's inside. You really have to embrace yourself, right? And you have to embrace what makes you unique. Embrace your uniqueness. Filter was off, and I said, Patch, I think you go beyond that. I think you embrace your freakness. And he said, I don't know what that means, but I love it. So yes, people ask me all the time, did you really meet Patch Adams? Yes, I really met Patch Adams at the Washington National Airport. We did spend about 15 minutes together. And I learned two things. Number one, embrace your freakness. Your freakness is what's inside of you that makes you unique and special. It's a mixture of your driving force and your values. It's something that's you're born with at the beginning and it never changes. We're here to help you to figure out what that is because that's what makes you unique and special. That's what people talk about when you leave the room, good or bad. So we want to learn how to embrace that. The other thing, and I strive this every time I meet somebody or interact with another human being, is to leave people better than I found them. I learned it from that day from Patch, and I've done that every day since. That's why I do what